wait, so even before, and we're kind of gonna go there, you definitely did gain weight, but you were already getting it before you gained weight. Because as of now, because you're talking about what? You were talking about like 6 or 7 years ago that this was?
Yeah.
So, because you weren't always at the weight that you are now. So you were, so did that have something to do with the Japanese standards as far as, because I have Japanese homegirls back in Tokyo and they are petite and they say that they're still fat. And I'm like, okay. So for you, when you eventually went into the transition as far as being a plus size model, did the criticism get a little bit harsher? Because you weren't always the weight that you are now.
I was a lot thinner. Like even though I was in my like 57 or 58 kilograms, I was still getting fat shamed by people around me. So fat shaming never stopped, but as I grew older, like I got curvier, so the body weight gained, and it did get, I guess, like a lot harsher, especially from my immediate family. Yeah, and just like shopping itself was a pain, especially in Tokyo. I don't really shop physically in shops in Tokyo.
And that's the thing too, because because I've been to Harajuku. I've been to Ginza. I walk around the stores. I got friends that have worked in the different retail stores and everything. I know, I get it. I'm surprised I'm even able to get T-shirts from Uniqlo. I'm surprised. And people that don't know Uniqlo, like you can find some cool stuff in there, but you'll be surprised, like if you're able to fit it, especially if you like someone of my stature. I'm like, I actually can get a shirt from here. But who would you say, like, especially because it does cater to women a lot, especially in the fashion industry in Japan. But like, who would you say is more? Was there someone that, besides your family, was there anybody that was a little bit more critical as far as like with you like going into the transition to becoming a model?
Wait, critical of me becoming a model?
As far as specifically a plus size model.
Ah.
Because like I said, and I think that's where I was going at, was that
Okay.
because you weren't, like I said, you were definitely thinner before. But then when you decided to be a plus size model, because there's certain requirements for that.
Right.
So was there anyone that kind of said, oh, what the heck are you doing?
That's interesting you bring it up. Well, I mean, first my especially my parents, they were like, okay, does being plus size model mean that you're gonna give up on exercising and just let go of yourself? Like that was one of the first comments that I got. And from my friends who live overseas, they were like, you're not even plus size, which was it still felt like body shaming to me. Like fat shaming is a type of body shaming. Like saying someone that they're not this enough, like even though like you're not thin enough, you're not fat enough, like not saying someone's not fat enough is still body shaming.
How? Because
you're basically...
where's the line at? You see what I mean? Is it necessarily a dislike thing, or is it more so just a cultural thing? Because I remember not too long ago, I was looking up like standard, and granted we're not in those times anymore, but looking up like back, like in the old medieval days, they used to say like, oh, fat people, most of the time that's actually a good thing. It was a high status like beauty, because that also like insinuated that you were wealthy and that you had like a certain amount of confidence in beauty.
Right.
So my thing is it more so, are they shaming, or are they just saying you're not technically in that certain like cultural standard that we would consider to be plus size? Because if that makes sense, because like we've all seen, and you definitely seen like the different plus size models who are definitely bigger than you, but it's not a thing of where, and I think that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm like, where's the line where it's just like, I'm just saying this versus I'm actually trying to make you feel bad? Does that make sense?
It does. I think like from a lot of different conversations that I've had with different people, like commenting on someone's body without that person in like starting a conversation on their own proactively, I think that itself is body shaming. Just making comments about anyone's body in general way, like Even saying,
So if I look muscular,
yeah, I think that can be in a way body shaming too, because that person may not necessarily be feeling good about feeling muscular. Sometimes they may not be feeling muscular enough. Like, and I know that there are actually a lot of women in Japan who are actually insecure about looking too muscular. So just commenting on someone's body itself is just not necessary, and it shouldn't, I personally feel like it should not be done unless that person's saying like, hey, I recently starting this and I'm feeling great, I gained more muscles. And then I think that can be like a good cue to kind of celebrate their achievements and saying, hey, you know, that's great that you've implemented something that makes you feel great. But personally, I don't want to focus on the physical appearance. So I would say I would more focus on commenting about the fact that they implemented a lifestyle that makes them feel healthier on their terms, something that makes them feel happier on their terms, and like the type of energy that they radiate, stuff like that. Because if you comment on someone like saying like, oh, like if that person says, oh, I started doing this workout, I lost this many pounds, I feel great, and you comment saying, that's great that you lost so much weight, that can actually push that person to go into a more dangerous dieting and workouts that could be more damaging to themselves. So if they overdo it, it could affect their bone density and they make them more vulnerable to a lot of physical injuries. It could also trigger them into eating disorder or any type of disordered eating. So after going through a lot of personal ordeals myself and also reading from different creators about their own experiences, yeah, I just don't feel like commenting on someone's weight, physical appearance is never a good thing.